Hello students, welcome to another lesson presented by the Learning Depot. In previous lessons, we've learned that the progressive, also called the continuous tense, is used to describe actions that continue over a period of time, and that the perfect tense shows perfection or completion up to a point in time. So when we want to indicate an action or condition that is ongoing, but that will be completed at some definite time, we will use the perfect progressive or the perfect continuous tense. In today's lesson, we will learn about the perfect progressive tense, also known as the perfect continuous tense. We will learn about the past perfect progressive, the present perfect progressive, and the future perfect progressive. Let's begin. The perfect progressive tense describes actions that are repeated over a period of time in the past, are continuing in the present, or will continue into the future. The progressive or continuous form of a verb represents the action of that verb as ongoing or continuing, and the perfect tense shows that action completed up to a point in time. Let's start with the past perfect progressive. The past perfect progressive is used to show an action that started in the past and continued up to another point in the past and was perfected or completed at that time, meaning that that action ended at a defined point in time in the past. The past perfect progressive is constructed using had been plus the verb's present participle. Let's look at the conjugations of the past perfect progressive. With the pronoun I had been looking. With the pronoun you had been looking. With the pronouns she, he, it, she had been looking, he had been looking, it had been looking. With the pronoun we had been looking. And with the pronoun they had been looking. We use the past perfect progressive tense to indicate certain situations. To describe a duration of something in the past, we use expressions of time. To explain cause and effect, or to describe actions that started in the past and ended at another point in the past. Let's look at some example sentences and note that there will be overlap depending on the context of the sentence. They had been living in the city for 10 years when they decided to move to the country. How long had you been waiting before a customer service representative answered your call? Nikki was homesick because she had been studying abroad for almost a year. Alan had a car accident because he had been texting while driving. The students had been taking a test when the fire drill alarm rang. Fortunately, they hadn't been working long when the interruption occurred. Notice that in all these sentences, the second action is described by using the simple past tense of the verb. We also use time expressions. These sentences show duration of something that happened in the past. They show cause and effect actions, and they also show actions that started in the past and ended at another point in the past. Let's go on to the present perfect progressive. The present perfect progressive, also referred to as the present perfect continuous, is a verb tense which is used to show that an action started in the past and has continued up to the present moment. The present perfect progressive is formed using the construction has been or have been plus the present participle. With the pronoun I have been searching. With the pronoun you have been searching. With the pronouns she, he, or it, she has been searching, he has been searching, it has been searching. With the pronoun we We have been searching. And with the pronoun they have been searching. The present perfect progressive is used to emphasize the duration of an action, to show recent cause and effect, and to describe temporary actions. Let's look at some examples of the present perfect progressive. How long have you been working on your homework? I've been working on this paper for 2 hours. Sheena hasn't been living in Texas for almost 3 years. She's been living in California. My hands are red because I have been washing dishes all morning. The company has been advertising on social media because they want to attract a younger audience. Who has been looking after your elderly uncle after his wife died? I have been taking care of him for the past 3 weeks, but we are looking for a permanent nurse. Notice that in these examples, some sentences are in the form of a question, and when this happens, remember that the subject is in inverted form. Also notice the contracted form of I have. In the second sentence, I've. And look at the negative form. In the third sentence, hasn't, has not. Also notice when there are 2 actions, the second action is in the present tense. The present perfect progressive shows examples that started in the past and continued up to the present moment. Again, notice that adverbs of time and prepositions of time are also used for this tense. And finally, let's go on to the future perfect progressive tense, also referred to as the future perfect continuous. This tense is used to show that something will continue up to a particular event or time in the future. The action will have started sometime in the past, the present, or the future, and is expected to continue into the future. The future perfect progressive will consist of the verb construction will have been plus the verb's present participle. With the pronoun I will have been eating. With the pronoun you will have been eating. With the pronouns she, he, or it, she will have been eating, he will have been eating, it will have been eating. With the pronoun we will have been eating. And with the pronoun they will have been eating. The future perfect progressive tense is used to show an action that will be completed before some specified time in the future, and also to show the duration of an action. Let's look at these example sentences. By the time they get married next month, they will have been dating for 2 years. When the guests arrive tonight, I'll have been preparing for the party all afternoon. By the time Jen graduates next fall, she will have been attending college for almost 6 years. When Mike turns 16, he will have been playing tennis for 10 years. Notice the adverbs of time as well as the prepositions of time. Also notice that in the second action, the verb is in the present tense. To summarize, the perfect progressive tenses include the past perfect progressive, the present perfect progressive, and the future perfect progressive. The perfect progressive tense, also known as the perfect continuous tense, describes actions that are repeated over a period of time in the past, are continuing in the present, and/or will continue in the future. One thing to note about the perfect progressive tense or any progressive or continuous tense is that non-action or stative verbs shouldn't be used with this tense. We will learn more about dynamic and stative verbs in another lesson. Make sure to go back and review the parts of the video that you did not understand, and if you have questions or comments, leave them below and I'll make sure to answer them. And if you like this video, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.